What's up, y'all? Quentin here with Catfish Karma, and in today's video, I'm bringing you the setup portion of a two-part build series. And in part one, I did the unboxing of the Smart Quad Dryer from Batson Enterprises. This thing's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. I don't think there's another one like it in the world. I don't think another company makes something like this for the at-home rod builder. But this thing gives me independent control of 4 different dryers at one time for different stages of rod building. Not just independent control, but well, I'm going to show you all that. That's what today's video is about, is getting this thing set up and spinning for the first time. But before I do that, I've got to cut it up with a saw, and I'm not even kidding. I mentioned that in part one. Let me show you what I'm talking about over here. You see, my intention is to mount this whole system to this door. It's a big door. It's a 12-foot door. You see, in my shop here where I build all my rods, I don't have a whole lot of open wall space because I've got all kinds of stuff in here. My welding stuff, my yard working stuff, all kinds of fishing stuff, hunting stuff. It's full. A lot going on. So this is the only one of the, in fact, my other door is set up to clean deer. I mean, the shop it's got a lot going on. So, but this door right here, it doesn't get used that often. It really only gets used when I bring my boat in and out, and that's usually not more than once or twice a week. And if I'm building rods, my boat's not going anywhere. So here's the plan. I need to mount, see, it won't fit. It won't fit on one panel. So I've got to split this thing and make it to where it can mount across 2 panels without any binding. When those panels articulate as it goes up, can't have any interference. This has got to line up just right. But I'm going to cut it almost in the middle, and I'm going to get everything level and plumb and square and happy to where it will work correctly. And then I'll show you exactly how I did it. And then we'll get this thing spinning and show you some of the features and how it works. So let's do that. Okay, before showing you what I'm about to show you, I want to mention that you should probably not do what I'm about to do, especially if you are the type of person that gets really caught up in warranty. I have no idea what warranty this may or may not have, but I'm pretty confident that if it does have a warranty, I'm about to void it. So you've been warned. If you cut your equipment in half, you probably don't have a warranty. That said, I'm going to spend just a brief amount of time showing you how I'm going about doing this and the final result when it's installed on the door. I'm not going to spend much time because you probably shouldn't even be doing it anyway, but here we go. I started by freeing up the wires here. I use these little snips and cut the zip ties off so that there would be some range of motion. And there is a fair bit. I'd say maybe 2-3 inches here. Something like that. It may not be required, but I wanted to make sure that these could move freely so that the first time it goes up and down the door, if range of motion is required, it will exist. Also, you can easily remove these wires just by pulling out these tabs on this neat little harness that they've got here. But for what I need to do, I just needed to be able to move just slightly. Step 2 was I put some tape on the location where the cut's going to be so that I could get a perfectly straight, square, crisp line to act as my cutting guide. And once I get these cut, then I'll sand off the edges and make it real nice, smooth, and factory looking. And then I will get this installed on the door, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all, lots of progress has been made, and I'm gonna update you on it. I'm gonna start right here. This is the instruction sheet that comes with the Smart Quad Dryer. It's all on one page. It's only a couple of steps because the truth of the matter is this can be really simple. I made it complicated by putting it on my garage door, and we're gonna go into that in detail. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that these brackets are really simple, and all that really matters in here is that For one thing, I want you to put it into the studs in your wall. It's kind of a given, although I think that modern drywall anchors are really good, and you could probably get by without having to put it in studs. But anyway, they want you to start off using these vertical slots, not the horizontal slots. That will help you to level these notches, the V notches here, the V brackets, with the chuck, so that your rod is level as it's spinning, and therefore your finish will finish level. That's really the most important thing that's in here. Additionally, it does go on, you'll see that there's a QR code there. That'll get you on the road to getting the brains of this operation linked to your phone, so you can use all the smart features. I'm not going to try to cover that here because I'm not a tech guy and I'll definitely screw that up. But it's simple enough. Just scan the QR code and go from there. So if you are going to put this on your garage door, which I think could benefit a lot of people, because not everybody has an 8 or 10 foot section in their house that's open to be dedicated to this. But here's the deal. It's got to be a double-sided door. Otherwise, you're gonna have to put bolts on the outside of your garage door. It's not gonna be sightly, and it's probably not the way to go. So, but this is a double-sided, double steel door. It's basically a commercial door. It's like 2 inches thick. It's insulated, and it's got heavy gauge steel on the inside and the outside. So that's something you're gonna want to look at if you're gonna try this. If you have a contractor grade garage door, I probably wouldn't do it. They're really thin, and the screws that you put in are not going to have a great deal to thread into. So you probably strip out. But if you've got a robust door, I think you can do it. These threaded really, really well, and I've had them in and out a few different times, moving brackets around and trying different things. And it seems to be pretty solid. So you may notice I put in several sets of screws. It's so that I can move. I've got a total of 3 of these brackets. I don't think I'm going to need all 3 for the most part, but it's so that I can move these brackets around for different builds. So I'll have more than just the 2 inches of adjustment. You know, a really, really limber rod might require all 3 brackets. The heavier rods that I generally build, I've kind of checked it out. I don't think I'm going to need all 3. But anyway, no matter what the guide layout is, I've got options here to accommodate that. What else did I run into? So I started off just by freeing up the wires in case I needed it, that extra range of movement. I didn't need it, but having the wires out of the way when I cut this was handy. And then I sanded those down and rounded the corners off. And then check this out. This is an important detail if you're going to put it on your garage door. The upper and lower brackets must be offset. They have to be offset because these are going to sort of scissor together when you raise and lower your door, and this will give you the clearance for that. Next up, these brackets, obviously they were one piece before I cut them apart, and they only had, I believe there was a total of 3 of these horizontal slots in there. I think it was the bottom sections that I had to put an additional slot in there. So I had to put that slot in there. Some of them I had to put 2 slots in there. So I did that just by drilling. I used the upper bracket to create a template for the lower bracket. And I clamped them together and then drilled holes in there and then cut it out with my Dremel. Sanded it off smooth so that I would have plenty of those horizontal cutouts. I think it's about it. That's all that's really worth noted. I know that putting it on the garage door won't be for everybody, but it will help some people. It's what I'm going to do, and I'm actually really happy with it so far. And now I'm going to load this thing up, and we're going to see it spinning some rods. That is so much cooler than I thought it would be. It's just 3 fishing rods spinning on a wall, but you know, in all the rods I've ever built, I had to deal with being able to dry just 1 rod at a time, or I could dry 2, but then I tied up my lathe. This is really cool. I mean, it's not often that I build 4 at a time, but I can definitely do it now and dry all 4 at a time. I think that's really neat. And check this out. This is This is what the control pad looks like. It's super simple, nothing to it. I was worried about the technology aspect of this, and to be honest, I haven't played with the app much yet, but I mean, this couldn't be easier. If you want to stop this bottom rod here, there's one press. Or you can also change direction by turning it on and off, or you can just grab this and it'll change direction. There you go. You got to do a longer grab. That's pretty neat. You're going to notice, what's the white stuff on there? That's glass cleaner. I'm going to show you why that's on there. But yeah, it's super simple. You can turn them all on and off right here independently. And I think that's really neat. But these chucks, I was concerned with how easy these would be to use because I don't build very many light fishing rods, and the rubber, we'll call it the grommet, I don't know what you would call this. The rubber piece is pretty small. There's foam inside there, but the rubber opening is small, and I thought it would really be tough to insert these large butt caps on these heavier action rods that I build. But let me show you how I'm doing that. It's super simple. So if you try, you know, if you have an aluminum butt cap, it might be easier, but these rubber butt caps against that rubber, there's a lot of grip there. So what I did is I just hit these with a little bit of glass cleaner, and this is even a gimbaled one. So with those gimbal slots, it would be more likely to be tough to get this inserted. But once you put a little glass cleaner on there and then just give it a twist, it's right in there. And the great thing about that, there's no way this thing is coming out while spinning. I've had that happen before. I had a rod sitting in a dryer and I turned it on and left for the evening, and when I came back, the rod was laying on the table and the finish was screwed up. These are not popping out. I would be beyond shocked if that happened. So here we go, check it out. Hit number 3. Boom, she's spinning, nothing to it. And let's see, how close are we? We're a little closer on our finish right here. A little farther here because of the offset. A little close there. So again, that's why I've got multiple options on where to put the racks. So I think that's pretty much it. I was worried about adding technology to this part of the rod building process, but it turns out there's really nothing to it. The install is super easy if you put it on a wall. A little bit more involved on the garage door. You got to clear your hinges and stuff, but the unit's easy to use. I look forward to years of rod building with the Smart Quad dryer from Batson. I think it's worth you guys checking out if you're into that kind of thing. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.